So in this video, I'm going to try and go over some of the basics of what goes through my mind when I'm playing support, just to kind of explain to kind of new players and more experienced players. So the first thing you're going to think about is what I'm going to go for. So Relic Shield's probably going to be what you go for if you're any melee champion, and possibly Fresh. With Fresh, if you don't feel comfortable getting Relic stacks, just go for Coin instead, because it's more difficult with Fresh because he doesn't execute minions. Relic Shield you really want on the melee champions because it gives you the extra health and it gives you the health back, which is really necessary because you're going to be taking heavier trades because you have to get really close to people to actually fight them. Coins basically for your shielding and healing champions, so your Jannas and your Lulus. You can go Spell Thieves on Lulus, up to you. It basically, the difference between Ancient Coin and Spell Thieves is how your playstyle is in the lane, and if your champion really values CDR, then you go for Coin instead. So Spell Thieves, again, this is primarily for your AP casters, so Zyras and Brands and Malzahars. Actually, all of them are really good at proccing spell thieves, and that's one of the reasons they're chosen, because they all have spells or plants that are going to proc it really easily. Morgana's another one that's really good for it. And then lastly, your decision of what potions you're going to take. So Refillable actually gives you 250 health, like if you take both of them. Whereas health potions you can get 3 of them, so that's 450 health. So if you need 200 more health in lane, if you feel you're going to be poked down that much, then you go for health potions rather than refillable. But obviously refillable is more cost efficient after 2 free charges. You're going to be making your money back, because you can also sell it for 60 gold ways. You're not going to be selling your potions. So let's talk about early game. So your level 1s. So let's say you're facing a Blitzcrank or something. What's your options? So first thing you can do is just a standard everyone 4-point cover. So there's 4 different points on the map, so there's 4 different entrances, so you just put someone in each entrance and just see if anyone comes. The only problem is sometimes people are asleep when they're in their position and then they get picked off. Next you can just stack a brush, just put everyone in it, and then the first person that enters just gets wrecked. Next thing you can do is actually just ward the entrances and leave. This is if you're really afraid of them level 1. Whereas the stack brush technique's kind of if you feel like you can actually do something level 1 if you have the jump on them. Champions that are good level 1 are the ones that tend to have CC or can hit multiple people with spells. The thing I tend to do pretty much every game as a support is I just come down and I drop a green wood in this brush, and then I go back and I just sit here and cover this. I'm just doing two people's jobs, just using a ward though. It's annoying because people always come to lane late. Mid laner will come a minute in, sit in this brush. He'll walk into this brush and just find their enemy team and die. So I just decided pretty much every game we're just going to come down and I'm going to ward this brush and leave it. So next thing you want to think about is where the jungle starts. So he's not going to start there. So he starts here. And so let's say we're in lane early. Yeah, we start the lane, creeps just hitting, and we're actually in lane early. And the enemy lane has come to lane late. And their top lane is actually in lane at the start of the lane. What does this actually mean? So it means basically that the jungle started here and the bot lane leashed them. And another way you can tell if, say, AD carry, support, and top both come to lane late, you can look at whoever has actually spent mana. It'll actually pretty much tells you whoever's leashed for the jungle. What it means if they've leashed is you know where the enemy jungle started. So if he's starting here and you're playing support, you know that he can possibly cheese gank you level 2. So you might want to ward out early, so 2.5 minutes in river if you're pushing up like this. If you're pushed in, then you really don't have to ward anything if you're pushed in. But if you're really pushed up there, you're going to want to ward out, just for the early gank. Whereas if he doesn't come around 2.5 minutes, then it means that he's going to come back probably 3.5 minutes, because he's going to be clearing everything else out and then basing and coming back if he's actually going to gank you. Whereas if he's starting topside, you know he can't gank you really early. that he can't actually cheese gank you level 2 unless he does a really weird route. So it's likely he's going to go blue and then do one camp red and then look for a gank, which is going to take him to around 3 minutes to 3.5 minutes before he can. Well, could be a bit earlier than that. It really depends on the jungler's clear time. So you just want to be acknowledging if they're on the opposite side of the map, they can't actually come bot. That's another thing you want to think about is if they show top, you don't have to ward river. Like just pay attention to where the jungle shows on the map. Like you don't have to ward out for them if you know they actually can't physically be there. And just save your trinkets. So obviously if they show up here, it means it's going to take them, 30 seconds. So if they base, it's 8 seconds, and it's going to take them at least 25, 30 seconds to actually walk up here. So that literally you can add 20 seconds onto your trinket by just saving it and using it when it's actually necessary. So next thing I'm going to go over would be jungle gank paths. So say we're on blue side, don't need the blue jungle, I mean this jungler, and say we're on blue side and enemy jungle's Zac. What this means is you're going to actually have to think about new warding places. So you're actually going to want to ward over here or outside the brush over here if you feel like you can't get into a position to ward that, and this will protect you from people like Bard, Shaco, Zac, or maybe a fresh gank, or oh yeah, I said Bard. Yeah, basically you want to think about what paths jungles are actually going to take, and if they are people that can really avoid your wards, you want to get early wards out for them. So maybe you want to see them on the double golems. Especially if someone like Eve, you want to get wards like here, and here, where I can actually see the camp because she's visible when she's clearing. Another thing I want to talk about is global champions. So maybe you're facing a TF. So maybe on blue side I'm facing a TF. One of the things I'm going to try and do is say we're just on our first base. I'm going to walk this way. I'm going to go here. I'm going to actually try and ward in lane on TF. Another place I want to get wards are here, here. And a really nice place to ward against any global is actually in this spot. And you can try and drop a pink in there because people don't tend to clear that. Other pink spots would be this brush, can be this brush. You can sneak them in there sometimes. But say it's just a standard base and you're coming from, say you've just got your sightstone and you're not really facing global, so you're not having to do kind of unique wards. You can just come to lane. And whenever you come into lane, you always want to walk this way because it allows you to be near the action on the map. Because your AD carry is probably just coming back to lane if you've based as well. So you want to be near mid because that's where the most likely is going to be fighting. So you come here, and you can pink in like different spots. And the choice between the different spots is basically, is my mid laner getting pushed in? If so, you're going to push in the defensive one. If it's kind of even, you can put it in the middle. If you're winning, you can actually pressure it here, because then your mid lane can actually cover the. It's basically, is this ward going to get cleared easily from them? And it basically depends on your mid and your jungle pressure. One of the things you want to think about if you're pushing up heavy as, say, blue side. So we're up. Where's this wall? This wall's here. Okay, so let's say we're pushing up really heavy. What you actually want is a pink ward here. And yeah, you kind of want to ward Drake as well. Basically, what these two are going to do, say you have these 3 wards, this is going to pretty much protect you. But that pink ward there is really important. Basically, the pink ward's going to prevent him from looping behind you. So the enemy jungle going here and going behind you. This one's going to prevent him from going over here, dashing over a wall, walking behind you that way. And this one's just going to protect you the other route. Obviously, it's sometimes nice to have a Skull Crab cleared as well. Basically, that would just cover all of your boundaries if you're pushing up aggressively. You just have to be careful of like TPs behind you. But a lot of elos, they just don't really TP very well though, and don't really punish you for anything. So now I can actually start talking about laning phase. So say we've leashed and we're red side. Ideal leash is kind of probably 2 or 3 auto attacks and a spell on the jungle creep. What you're trying to do with the leash is just give the jungle a little bit of help, but make sure that you're not missing any XP on the way to lane. Because if any creep dies on the way to lane, it means that you're going to be getting your level later, which is going to put you behind and going to put you at risk of getting killed. Because certain champions, if you don't have two spells, and if they have one spell and you have two, you're just going to kill them pretty much. Like someone like a Leona going on a Zyra. If Leo gets two first, he's probably just going to kill her. So just make sure that you're getting all the XP that you should be. A thing that's kind of annoying is sometimes AD carries, while you're walking to lane of support, will actually just start hitting the creeps early, like the melee ones, and kill them, and then you miss the XP, and it's just really frustrating. Because they don't actually realise how dumb what they've just done is. Also, if they keep slamming into the melee creeps when they just come to lane, it means, like, before they've come, it means that your creeps are less likely to kill, their creeps are less likely to kill yours, and so it means that they're less likely to get denied if your AD carry is killing the melee creeps. So what I'd recommend is when you come to lane, just auto attack the back, like the range creeps, like 3 times, like each of them, like one auto for each of them, and just try and get the range creeps to die kind of early, because the range creeps, whenever you trade, are going to do probably the majority of the damage onto you, and you got to really value creep damage early on in the game. So basically, acknowledge XP and when you're going to level up. Also try and think about when your champion's actually strong. So, for example, say I'm playing Zyra and I'm like, I can't actually do anything right now. Sometimes I just have to acknowledge that and just play back until level 6 and then go for an all-in level 6 when I have ulti. Sometimes you just have to acknowledge it's a bad lane and just play that way. In terms of trading, you want to acknowledge what your kind of simple trade is, and then what your kind of, I'd say, dangerous trade or heavy trade is. So a simple trade would be just to proc your Thunderlords as someone like Zyra, so auto-attacking and then using Q and getting a plant to spawn and auto-attack them once, that'll just proc your Thunderlords, and then you can just repeat that whenever Thunderlords is up, and you're not going to spend too much mana, and it's going to be nice for you. And then there's a heavy trade, which is basically going to use your full combo, so your E, your Q, and your W. I'd define a heavy trade as using your important ability, so maybe a Fresh throwing his hook, a Blitzcrank throwing his hook, Morgana bind. Basically, anyone using what ability is gonna, like, their playmaking ability. You want to acknowledge if it's down or up, because it means that you can punish them. So a Blitzcrank missing a hook means you can punish him for like 16 seconds, or Morgana missing a bind means you can punish for like 8 seconds. I'd say like a little bit time less. Like, what you want to think about is what their cooldown is, and then the time period that it's going to take you to get into a safe position after that cooldown's back up. Like, before that's back up. That's what I'm trying to say. So acknowledge important cooldowns, acknowledge XP in lane, understand your power spikes, understand when you have level and item advantages. So say you've just bought and they haven't bought, you might have a window where you can actually kill them. Another important thing is just the time summoner spells. It really allows you to make better plays and allows you to punish the lane a lot better, especially if they're mobile champions. Sometimes you can just literally loop behind and then just kill the AD carry. If you know they don't have flash and you're playing someone like a Zyra, you just flash on them. If they don't have flash, they're unlikely to dodge your route. So yeah, just time your abilities. To time summon spells, what you can do is just press tab and look at the cooldown. And you can also ping out the summon spell whenever it happens, and then just when you're walking back to lane, you can actually see when that was pinged out, and then just add like 5 minutes onto that for someone's summon spell. And you can also tell if someone's got a summon spell cooldown reduction. Summon spell cooldown? Yeah, you know what I mean. You can tell if they have that by looking on the tab screen and hovering over their flash, and so you can change it accordingly. Also, exhaust and heal can be kind of important cooldowns. They're a bit more difficult to time than flash though. So just try and time cooldowns, especially on important mages. So say they have a wave clear mid, it's really important to time their cooldowns so you can punish them and actually break their turrets. So say lane phase is over now. Yep, and you've just smashed this turret in. Yeah, and you just spaced. So bot turret is no more. What you want to think about is there an important Drake up? If there's an important Drake up, you probably want to send your AD carry and support mid, just to pressure in this, and then rotate Drake. Whereas, and also if the enemy mid lane doesn't have wave clear, oh my nose, not good. If their mid doesn't have good wave clear, then you can actually pressure this turret quite easily and then open up the map. Also, if they have a global mid, so TF, you can pressure in him and he's not going to be able to roam. So those are the kind of conditions where you go mid, so no wave clear and important Drake up. Whereas if they've got wave clear mid and the Drake's not really important, as soon as you break this turret, you just go top with the AD carry, pressure this turret in. What you can do is just basically gank for your top laner, and then try and kill the top, and then take the turret. Or what you do is you tell your top laner to base and go bot, and just try and hold the turret for as long as you can, and the jungle can come help him, or the jungle can come help you dive top lane. And basically what you're trying to do is just get tempo and just take a turret so you'll have 2 turrets taken, so you'll have this one done and this one gone, for only them taking this one. So you're just maintaining that tempo lead in the game. Next thing you want to do after you take that turret is obviously rotate mid and then try and take mid turret. So basically you just want to get all the outer turrets, and then you push vision deep, and then you go for other turrets. So example of what you want to get for vision control. So say your AD carries come in top after breaking this turret. As a support, what you want to do first, you come this way. Whenever you come from lane, whenever you're going to ward, as a support, you want to walk down, and then you want to go this way to mid, and then in general you're going to be placing a pink ward because it's normally going to get swept out or something. But then you want to come back and you want to go here and try and get deep vision into these spots. It depends on how much pressure you have on the map and what knowledge of where people are, but you want something like this. Maybe you want one here. You can, if you can get one there, it's nice because you can just react earlier, but that's kind of a difficult one. So you just want to get deep vision and just have the pink over here just to protect the mid lane. And you're going to want to do basically the opposite when it's on the other side. Basically the same accounts for the other map. And what you can do is place a ward in the mid lane like this. That's where the other ward can be, or at the crossroads here. Just try and get as much information as possible. Basically, you want to rotate the vision out like this whenever there's an important objective. So just push deep vision in, get Drake, get Baron, sweep all the areas, use your scrying orbs to clear out. One of the last things you want to think about is your decision making for objectives like Baron and Drake. So, who are the important people dead? Are we just going to bait this? Are we going to burn this down? Can we trade like Baron for Drake? So, say we know they're going to go Drake in 30 seconds. Can we just burn Baron in that time when they're just trying to do that before they actually realize? That's something you want to think about if you're really far behind. Also, if you're ahead, you can just try and you can try and sneak it, but when you're ahead, you actually want to bait it normally and just try and win a fight, and then you can actually take other objectives and just keep baiting them to Baron. That's like another choice. So hopefully this video is kind of interesting, and tell me if you want me to do more or something.